Hey geeks, some of you may know that my video for Toronto Comic Con won't be coming out because of this COVID-19 and they canceled the event. I also had a video coming out, me interviewing the David Bowie alumni band. That also is canceled. So I'm scrambling some stuff together to release over the next 2 weeks. We're going to make a couple fun episodes that you can look forward to. In the meantime, I'm going to play for you guys a previously unreleased episode of Geek with Dev's Couch where I brought my uncle on. You can see some of the talent in my family. He's been an actor since, God, I don't know how long he's been an actor for, but we're going to talk to him about being an actor before the internet, being a musician, and he claims to have made the first Sony Walkman. Stay tuned. It's a fun little episode. It's just, there's not as much B-roll. It's just laid back, and we're sitting on the couch and talking about, family things and being an actor and a musician. He's a character, so stay tuned. He's one of my favorite people that in my life, so you guys get an inside look at the life of Devin and the family. So ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching episode 3 of Geek with Dev's Couch. I'm here joined by Johnny Scott. This is, for those of you who don't know, my uncle. It's good to be with you.
Thanks, Dev.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah,
so
it's good to be back.
For sure. So those of you who don't know, like I said, he's my uncle, and he's been around since day one. I asked him for his autograph on Canada Day when you're performing back at the park. That's a mall now. It's a mall now. You recall that show?
It was quite a day.
Yeah,
it's packed down there, elbow to elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe that they turned that into a shopping mall now? So much is getting changed, and you can say you played where buildings are now. You played where Timmy's is now.
Exactly.
Like you were there before that Tim Hortons.
That's right.
But yeah, so
I'm ancient.
Like you said, you were here before the fall started flowing, eh?
That's right.
So you've been in the acting industry for quite a while. So can you tell me a little bit about what acting was like before, like all this internet stuff? It's so complicated now. But what was it like when you had to get in a car and go?
Yeah. Well, you would get in your car and you would drive around, actually, from Niagara Falls to St. Catharines, Hamilton, Toronto, and just kind of look for signs and stickers or whatever have you in windows, right? And you see agency looking for, and you agency looking for what? And then you go, they're looking for actors, they're looking for somebody for, and you say, well, I can do that. And you go in and you just go and talk to the people, and at that point, like your resume was consisted of a piece of paper with a shot that somebody took on a Polaroid that you pulled out and you stuck it on with a piece of tape.
Like your headshots, eh, and everything?
There's your headshot for you.
You had it all in a briefcase going from place to place, eh?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about acting. How did you first actually find your interest in that?
For me, I moved from Niagara Falls to Toronto, and at that point in time, like I said, we had our loves of our lives in acting world, which was Gregory Peck, Cary Grant, Gene Kelly, and Marilyn Monroe, all the glamorous, of course, women of the world. And and the more you sat and watched them, you thought, I could do that.
Yeah.
Or I think I can.
Yeah.
And so you started putting little resume together, and you get a shot from a Polaroid camera and stick it to the paper. And so I ended up finally moving from Niagara Falls to Toronto.
Yeah.
And at the Eaton Center at that time, I heard that there was a talent agency upstairs in the glass towers up there, really? Which was impressive in itself. And so I shot up there and I saw Mr. Bob Parr. And I talked to him for a bit, and he says, yeah, I said, I think we can get you out on some stuff. So he started sending me out on a little bit of background, in the background, walking by and, looking from a stop sign. That would be your big part. And, so it was called background, extra stuff.
In the beginning.
Yeah, they call it cattle calls.
Yeah.
Right? And then I hung around long enough that pretty soon he said, what would you think of taking on teaching acting classes for us here at the Tower? And I said, Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's turned out that I made up a curriculum, a curriculum of my own of different little skits and commercials that you could do and different things that I would, just like an interviewer, like yourself, right? And ask questions and stuff like that. So finally, I was doing like 5 or 6 people in a class at a time, and then he bumped it up to 12, 17, 18, till it was 20 of all ages, right? From 16 to 99. But it turned out pretty good because that gave me more incentive to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And and then it made it a lot better and easier and simpler for me to relate and communicate my talents and to offer my assistance to help others, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we all do, hopefully.
Yeah, you learn a lot from helping others too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, what about music? Tell me a little bit about music.
Music. Last time I was on your show.
You did some music, I think.
Yeah.
You sang a little bit, and then you did some impressions.
Animal calls and impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think for the music, when I was just young, I tell this story. I've told it since I was a kid, and nobody believes it, but here's how it happened. I had a transistor radio. It was like a little square box at that time with a dial on it, right?
Yeah.
It just had like 5 or 6 stations on it. Right. Where we lived, of course, on the boonies, it only had like 3. But anyway, I would listen to Elvis and Frank and, all the bigs at that time. And pretty soon it got to the point where I was sick and tired of carrying it around, and I would never put it down. I'm telling you, I would do everything and anything. I would do anything to get the money to buy another battery, right?
Yeah.
What I did was I took it and I thought of an idea. I created the first Walkman because I put it on my ear.
You put it on
and
your
I
ear
taped it.
Yeah.
I taped it with
yeah.
hockey tape around my head.
Whatever works, right?
Not hard, but enough to hold it there, right?
Yeah.
And it'd leave black marks, of course, and all that crap. People think you're eating licorice with your forehead. But anyway, so what happened was, by doing that, like I'd walk down the streets and I'd think it was a normal thing, except for the fact now I'm not carrying a radio, right?
Yeah.
And I would hear people. I could hear them because they weren't that loud in that days, right? Because your volumes and everything were, fine tuned like they are today. But people would say, "Hey man, look, here comes that dude with that thing strapped to his head, man. I don't know, man. He's a freak or something, man. He's had that thing strapped to his head for years, right?" And it's true. I did it for years. And I think that's what gave me the ability to perform the stuff that I do today.
So would you give us a spin? Like one of your songs off your album, Portrait, right?
Yeah.
That's the name of the album. And so this is a little personal story, but you guys might enjoy it. My mom told me that she used to sing her one of those songs when she was going to bed or something like that. Some sort of lullaby from Portrait. Or it was what do you remember? Do you know what song that was?
Yeah, I could try it. I'll try and give it.
Do you know which song that was?
Without music?
Portrait? Portrait. Yeah.
Stars shine, you're mine. Shine on me forever. Star glow, I know you're gonna leave me never. Taking the time to fill my life with color.
When I could feel the notes through the couch, you're using your diaphragm. Like, for sure.
Yeah.
But so my mom told me a lot about that song when we were younger, and you sing it, and her going to Toronto and hanging out with you guys, and so I think that, it's really cool. Good.
Them were the good old days.
And just like I really appreciate that you continue, and I got to know you as well as they did, and and that's what I like about family is like there's people like me, like I want to get in touch with family. I want to talk to family. I'm so like there's such good talent in the family, and so I just want to actually touch on a music video you were in back in the 80s. Total 80s style music video. I'll play a clip here. I'll roll a clip here.
I took you for an angel, right from your head down to your toes. Now your halo slowly dying, and the great clouds hang
that music video. What was that like? Murder in the First Degree.
Yeah, I wrote that.
You wrote that one.
I wrote it.
Was that on MTV?
That was on
Or Much Music?
Much Music,
Much
City
Music.
TV.
Yeah.
There was a segment back then on City TV. It was called City Limits.
City Limits.
Yeah. And so they would bring unknowns in, right? And at that time, I took my video. Like, this is who I was in those days. I would just go someplace. I would give them a call. I wasn't like that. I had to see you face to face, right?
Yeah.
I'd go down City TV, knocking on the door. Somebody's off. Excuse me? I go, oh, hi. I have a video that I did. It's entitled Murder. I wrote it and everything. I just wonder if it's possible because I already had a segment on City TV and it's called City Limits. And I was just wondering, is it possible that it could get played or something? They go,
Yeah.
So they look at you and they're like, come on in. So you sit down and that, blah, blah. So I talked to them for a while and, I explained. They took a little peek. They said, here, let me have a look at that. And so they go in another room. You're sitting there now going,
just waiting.
Nice room.
Nobody's on their phone. Nobody's on any devices. No headphones. Nothing taped to your head. You're just looking at the ceiling like.
Yeah. So anyway, they come back and he said, you know what? He says, yeah, we're gonna give that a shot.
Yeah.
Right.
I watched that video. It's really like the theme. The theme is just like total. That was the '80s, right?
That's
correct?
raw. That's
like,
raw, man.
So like it's a classic, definitely,
Yeah.
for sure.
So they did play it, and he said that it was equivalent. He says as far as I'm concerned, he says it's equivalent to some of the $50,000 and $80,000 videos that we're running right now on City Limits. And I went,
That's insane.
really? And
That's awesome.
I scraped the money together to do that. $5,000. I mean $5,000
$5,000 and it looks like $80,000
on my own.
That's fantastic.
On my own, yeah.
See, it's the devotion and stuff, especially back in those days that like actually stood out and people realized that.
Yeah, I'm not bragging and I'm not complaining.
Of course, no.
I'm just saying that if you want something, right, and you believe in it and you believe in yourself,
Yeah.
just like you do. If you believe in yourself and you push long and hard enough, it will become a part of your very existence. And that's something that I fear that young people are not learning
I know. Me
these
too.
days. There are a few, and God bless them, man, because it's so important to find that root
Yeah.
and nurture
Find who you are.
and let it and make it grow one way or another, man.
People give up so easily when they see something go wrong, but
You know,
it's all failure, and I know failure is a part of growth.
yeah, there's so much going on in the world today, though. You take a look at the, like, bullies and this and that, the suicides and everything else, and drugs and everything that's hampering everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like as if they don't have a chance to actually head towards that route anymore, because it seems like failure is mentioned so much in society today that it's almost bigger than the word success. Exactly.
People are so afraid to fail, they don't even try.
That's what I'm saying. Like, success, it's like success. It's like they almost expect you to be saying in your next mouthful, failure somewhere. What's wrong with you? Almost. And to me, it's kind of scary. So I do what I do. I don't know who knows, who cares, or whatever, but I'm just going to say that. So I try to do as much as I possibly can to anybody in the industry, or not to, but for
anybody.
and with anybody in the industry that is trying to find a little leadway or themselves or a little fit. And so I try to do as much as I can to support whatever they're doing. And even if it takes out of my time. You know, I've had my time. I've done a lot. I've enjoyed it, and I will. And I will till the day I die, because I'll never quit. I just love the public, love everything about it. And I just love people that do love that. And I try to support them as much as I possibly can, and always will.
Absolutely, and we appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, well, thanks for coming on the show. Do you have anything you want to promote? Anything you want to plug? Seek out some more roles?
I'm just going through it, man.
Yeah.
Just loving it.
Yeah.
Just loving it.
For sure.
All the movie sets and acting. If there's anybody out there listening, I am the mafiosa guy you're looking for because I love playing the mafia. So I mean, I did Lucky Penny. There's Shoes of the Devil, which I also did here as a mobster, and that was like lead role in Shoes of the Devil. And Lucky Penny, I was lead role in Lucky Penny, which is really nice.
That's really good.
Yeah, really. So if you're out there, I'm here.
You got a mobster right here,
Just
ladies and gentlemen. Not a real one, but a really, really good fake one.
Yeah, I can even do Al Pacino if you want. We'll do a second-hand Al Pacino. Do you know something, man? I'll tell you a little story. It's people like you who bother people like me because I don't bother people like you. That's why. And if you don't understand that, look it up in the Mafiosa Encyclopedia. I wrote it, you know? Simple. Thank you.
Johnny Scott, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming on the show, brother.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys stay tuned for another episode of Geek with Deb's Couch coming to you soon.